Stoicism is often hailed as a key to personal strength, resilience, and wisdom. But even the most disciplined Stoics can make mistakes, especially in relationships. In this video, we'll uncover 3 emotional mistakes that can break a Stoic's relationship in just 3 days, and most importantly, we'll explore how to avoid them. Stoicism teaches us core principles like emotional control, self-reflection, and rational thinking. These practices help us stay calm amidst adversity and improve our interactions with others. But here's the paradox. While Stoicism equips us to handle life's challenges, it's easy to let emotional blind spots slowly unravel even the strongest relationships. In today's video, we'll explore 3 critical emotional mistakes that can shake a Stoic's relationship: acting without reflection, shutting down emotionally, and neglecting empathy. These pitfalls might seem minor at first, but over just 3 days, they can drive a wedge between you and your partner if you're not careful. Day 1. Acting without reflection. The impulsive reaction. Imagine a situation where a Stoic, overwhelmed by stress at work, comes home to a minor disagreement with their partner. The stress from the day builds up, and instead of pausing to reflect, they react impulsively, raising their voice or making a harsh statement. This seemingly small interaction, fueled by emotions rather than rational thinking, creates a significant emotional rift between them and their partner. In this scenario, the Stoic principle that is abandoned is the practice of reflecting before reacting. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius emphasize the importance of self-reflection before taking action, especially in moments of emotional turmoil. As he wrote, "When you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself, what is it in me that is causing this reaction?" In this case, the Stoic partner fails to pause and reflect. Instead, they allow their immediate emotions, anger, frustration, or stress, to dictate their response, which breaks the key Stoic discipline of emotional control. Mistake reacting impulsively, particularly in moments of conflict, goes against the Stoic ideal of emotional regulation. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions do not have to control us. In this situation, the emotional reaction is driven by frustration or stress, which clouds rational thinking and leads to actions that later feel regrettable. Rather than using the pause to consider the bigger picture or understand the source of their emotional state, the Stoic partner's immediate reaction is influenced by the external pressures they're dealing with. Their partner, on the receiving end, feels hurt, disrespected, and confused by the outburst. What could have been a minor issue now becomes a major emotional wound in the relationship. Impact on the relationship. This impulsive reaction creates immediate tension. The partner feels blindsided, hurt by the harsh words or tone, and defensive. Instead of communicating with a sense of understanding and empathy, both partners are now caught up in a cycle of emotional defensiveness. The Stoics' goal is to maintain peace and clarity, but by reacting impulsively, they disrupt this sense of calm and clarity. The conflict remains unresolved, and instead of fostering a deeper understanding, it fosters distance. The partner feels unsupported, perhaps even unloved, because the Stoic partner failed to engage with the situation thoughtfully. Over time, this failure to reflect can erode the trust and connection that a relationship needs to thrive. By neglecting the Stoic practice of reflection, the Stoic partner risks causing emotional damage. The emotional outburst, while potentially short-lived, leaves behind residue, resentment, hurt, and misunderstanding that builds up over time. These impulsive reactions are often a result of frustration with oneself or external circumstances. However, when they spill over into a relationship, they prevent healthy communication and diminish emotional intimacy. How to avoid it? The key to avoiding this mistake is to practice the Stoic pause. Before responding to a conflict or emotional trigger, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and ask yourself, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? What is the best course of action based on logic, not emotion? By using this pause to reflect on the situation, you allow yourself time to regain emotional composure. This leads to more constructive communication, where both partners feel heard and respected. Rather than letting emotions escalate, this reflective approach encourages rational problem-solving, keeping the relationship grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Day 2. Shutting down emotionally, the silent treatment. The day after the argument, the Stoic partner, still feeling emotionally charged and perhaps slightly guilty, decides to shut down emotionally. They withdraw into silence, believing that by not engaging or responding, they are maintaining control over their emotions and preventing further conflict. They avoid discussing the issue and offer no emotional support to their partner, thinking that this detachment is a way to keep the peace and avoid making the situation worse. Stoic principle. Abandoned. In this situation, the Stoic principle abandoned is engaging in honest communication and emotional openness. While Stoicism emphasizes emotional control, it does not encourage emotional suppression or avoidance. Epictetus teaches, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This principle speaks not only to material desires, but also to emotional transparency. It suggests that true strength lies in having clarity about what is truly necessary for our emotional well-being, which includes engaging honestly with our emotions and those of others. The Stoic partner, in an attempt to avoid further conflict, believes that by choosing silence, they are protecting themselves and their partner from additional emotional turmoil. However, this approach fails to recognize the importance of addressing issues directly and constructively. Withdrawing emotionally, especially after a conflict, is not a Stoic solution. It creates distance rather than resolution. By choosing silence over engagement, the Stoic partner may feel they are practicing detachment, but they are, in fact, fostering emotional disconnection. The act of shutting down sends an implicit message to the other partner that their feelings are not worth engaging with or that their concerns are insignificant. Stoicism teaches that we should face our emotions head-on, not suppress them. The silent treatment, instead of allowing for constructive emotional management, merely postpones necessary communication, leaving feelings unresolved. It prevents both partners from understanding each other's needs and concerns, eroding emotional intimacy and trust in the process. Impact on the relationship. For the partner on the receiving end, emotional withdrawal feels like abandonment. It leaves them confused, unsure of what went wrong and why their partner isn't communicating. The partner feels rejected, unimportant, and disconnected, all of which build insecurity and dissatisfaction in the relationship. This emotional disconnect deepens the sense of isolation, and the issue at hand remains unresolved. Instead of creating space for healing, the Stoic partner's silence allows resentment to fester. Over time, this emotional neglect creates a barrier that can be difficult to overcome, especially when both partners are left uncertain about each other's feelings or thoughts. Stoicism is not about avoiding emotions, it's about managing them in a constructive and rational way. Suppressing emotions or withdrawing from your partner does not strengthen the relationship, it weakens it. The silent treatment signals neglect, and avoiding confrontation does not solve underlying issues. It only leaves them simmering under the surface, where they may grow larger and more difficult to address later. How to avoid it? Rather than shutting down emotionally, Stoics should aim for open and honest communication. Acknowledge your emotions, even if they're difficult, and express them calmly. Share your thoughts without anger, explaining why you feel the way you do. At the same time, listen to your partner's feelings and validate their experience. Emotional openness does not mean overwhelming your partner with your emotions, but rather inviting a shared understanding. In moments of tension, embrace vulnerability. Remember that Stoicism teaches that true strength lies not in hiding from emotions, but in confronting them thoughtfully and constructively. By engaging in honest, vulnerable communication, the Stoic partner can help prevent emotional distance from forming and foster a relationship grounded in trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Day 3. Neglecting empathy, focusing on your own perspective. By day 3, the Stoic partner still harbors frustration from the previous argument. They feel wronged and emotionally wounded, but instead of processing their own emotions and moving forward, they continue to focus on their own feelings, neglecting to consider their partner's emotional state. When their partner tries to talk about the issue again, the Stoic responds dismissively or defensively, focused entirely on their own hurt and perspective. They may belittle or invalidate their partner's feelings, saying things like, "You're making too much of this," or "I don't have time to talk about this again." In this scenario, the Stoic principle abandoned is practicing empathy and understanding the other's point of view. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and antisocial." While this quote may initially seem pessimistic, it's not meant to judge others, but to acknowledge that every person has their own internal struggles. A Stoic's goal is not to ignore these challenges, but to recognize them, which requires empathy, the ability to understand and connect with another's emotions. In relationships, empathy is essential. A Stoic must strive to view others with compassion, recognizing that everyone has their own fears, desires, and emotional responses, no matter how well they hide them. Mistake. The mistake in this scenario is focusing solely on one's own emotional turmoil, which blinds the Stoic partner to their partner's needs and feelings. Instead of pausing to consider their partner's emotional state or the underlying reasons for their behavior, the Stoic partner gets lost in their own grievances. They fail to acknowledge that their partner is also likely processing the same conflict in their own way. This failure to empathize makes the other partner feel invisible, misunderstood, and emotionally unsupported. The Stoic partner may not intend to harm their partner, but by prioritizing their own emotions over their partner's, they unintentionally shut them out. This creates a sense of emotional isolation, where the relationship becomes more about individual pain than mutual understanding. Impact on the relationship. As the Stoic partner continues to dismiss or belittle their partner's feelings, the relationship begins to suffer. The partner who is neglected emotionally feels unheard, unsupported, and increasingly disconnected. They may begin to withdraw, feeling that their emotions don't matter. This creates a cycle of emotional distance where both partners are stuck in their own individual perspectives, unable to break through to each other. The lack of empathy also breeds resentment. When one partner's feelings are consistently invalidated, they may begin to question the Stoic partner's commitment or emotional availability. Over time, this dynamic erodes trust and connection, making it harder to resolve conflicts or maintain emotional intimacy. The Stoic approach to relationships must involve an ability to see beyond our own narrow perspective. Emotional intelligence and relational harmony come from recognizing that both partners are navigating their own struggles, fears, and desires. A relationship thrives on mutual understanding, and empathy is the bridge that connects us to our partner's experience. How to avoid it? To avoid this mistake, the Stoic partner must practice active listening. This means not only hearing the words their partner says, but also understanding the emotions behind them. Acknowledge the other person's feelings, even if they don't align with your own, and validate their experience. The Stoic approach is not about self-centeredness. Rather, it's about fostering shared understanding and growth. By giving space to your partner's emotions, you invite a deeper connection that strengthens the bond, helps resolve conflicts, and nurtures mutual respect. As Marcus Aurelius teaches, true wisdom is not about perfecting oneself in isolation, but about relating harmoniously to others. The cost of ignoring Stoic wisdom. Acting impulsively, shutting down emotionally, and neglecting empathy are three crucial mistakes that can unravel a relationship in just 3 days. Each error feeds into the next, creating a cycle of misunderstanding, emotional disconnection, and unresolved tension. What begins as a small misunderstanding can quickly grow into a significant emotional divide, leaving both partners feeling isolated and unheard. Stoicism isn't just about cultivating personal resilience, it's about using those principles to strengthen relationships. Emotional control, empathy, and self-reflection are the bedrock of healthy partnerships. These Stoic virtues provide the foundation for understanding, patience, and mutual growth in any relationship. No relationship is perfect, and no Stoic is flawless. But by embracing the teachings of Stoicism, by pausing, listening, and empathizing, you can transform your relationship from one of frustration to one of mutual respect and love.